Coming up on your news at 10 p.m., another threat, another lockdown. What Howard University students feel about living under constant fears of threats on their campus. And later in the show, President Biden has announced that there will be a $10,000 cut on student loan payments. A look at who qualifies and what effects this might have down the line.
As we come into the tail end of August and start up September next week, hard to imagine. I tell you what, the beach forecast is looking better and better. Get those last couple of days in. We'll talk about it coming up. Stick around with that.
Good evening. You're now tuned in to DC News Now at 10 p.m. I'm Cheyenne Corinne holding down the desk tonight. Let's get right into some of our top stories all around our region. And developing this evening, police in D.C. are investigating a crash that happened in Northeast last night. But this is no ordinary crash. This one involved an ambulance. It happened on the area of New York and Florida Avenues just after 6 p.m. Our crew saw a few patrol cars, but the scene was clear when we arrived. An officer told us there were no reported injuries, but it comes less than a day after another crash with a first responder vehicle. The news of that other crash first broke on Thursday when a police cruiser was involved in a wreck on the way to a shooting investigation. Now, 5 people were hurt in that crash. And also tonight, students at Howard University are concerned about the frequency of bomb threats their campus has seen recently. The most recent threat happened overnight at the university's main campus. D.C. police tell us after evacuations, they did a thorough search of 2 residential buildings before issuing the all clear. Now, this is now the 8th time that the HBCU has received bomb threats this year, and each time they ended up being a bust.
It's scary. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, the police get here quick, like fire trucks get here fast, but it is just kind of nerve-wracking that's even an issue, you know? Like, you can't even just like sleep before class and without having to worry about that kind of stuff.
No reason for this to be happening, and honestly, it's not something that we should be taking lightly or rolling over and dealing with at all. It should not become normalized, and it should be treated as high priority.
And we'll keep you updated as we learn more about those bomb threats. Now, moving along, 2 AT&T stores were robbed at gunpoint last week, and now 3 suspects are behind bars and being charged. The 3 suspects, who are all in their 20s, went to 2 separate AT&T stores, one in Bethesda and the other in Rockville. Investigators tell DC News Now that they bought a handgun into the stores, showed it to the employees, and at one point used it to hit one of the employees in the head. Now they forced the employees into the back office to open the safe, and they were also able to make it out with several bags filled with iPhones, AirPods, and other devices. All 3 of those suspects are facing multiple charges of armed robbery and first-degree assault. And with crime on the rise across America and right here in the nation's capital, there's a new group hitting the streets. They're called Violence Interrupters, and they come from the DC Peace Academy. News Nation reports on this new group's daunting mission, getting a grip on crime that so often feels out of control.
As cities across the country suffer with waves of violent crime, the nation's capital is rolling out newly trained recruits to help prevent it. They aren't police, but violence interrupters, whose job it is to mediate conflicts and prevent them from escalating to involve guns. Thursday, 23 graduates who currently work as interrupters completed a 13-week training.
I chose the streets. That was one of the biggest mistakes of my life.
They know the neighborhoods firsthand and are familiar with the trauma that experts say drives cycles of violence.
Basically, my life spiraled out of control, landing myself in prison for a violent crime.
Executive Director LaShawna Thompson L. served nearly 2 decades in prison, but came out ready to keep others from following in her footsteps.
I push really hard for the city to invest in a public health approach to gun violence intervention because I believe in it.
But in D.C. and other cities, violent crimes, particularly homicides, continue to rise. On Wednesday, police say 12 people were shot in D.C. in one day, including a shooting where 5 people were hit and 2 were killed. In nearby Baltimore, 7 were shot on a street corner. And from 2020 to 2021, homicides were up in New York, LA, and DC. As more cities consider alternatives to a police-only solution, the question is, do these programs work? The available data is mixed. A UC Berkeley study says a similar program in Stockton, California, slashed gun assaults and homicides by 20%. DC says the neighborhoods with the program saw drops in those same crimes in 2020 and 2021. But according to John Jay College, the research on interrupters is mixed, incomplete, and very difficult to do. Even DC's mayor says although the evidence is scant, she sees prevention approaches as worthy investments.
What I know is that they are engaging people who are known to use guns and are engaging them in other activities.
And this week marks 6 months since Russia invaded Ukraine. Today, hundreds gathered across from the White House to celebrate Ukraine's Independence Day. Daniel Hamburg was there and explains how spirits are still high, even among refugees in the D.C. area.
Wednesday, August 24th, marked 31 years since Ukraine became a democratic nation free from the Soviet Union.
Happy Independence Day.
But it also
marked precisely 6 months since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine began on February the 24th.
Even with war happening right now, Ukraine's ambassador to the U.S. is calling this a celebration.
Because we will do what Russians do not want us to do. We will win, we will survive, we will celebrate, and we will always exist.
Local organization United Help Ukraine is grateful for the continued support.
As a small organization, we ourselves fundraised over $35 million in just 6 months here in Washington, D.C. area.
Some refugees have settled in the D.C. area.
I wanted everyone to know that the Ukrainian war is the war of the whole world against fascism.
Supporters appreciate the recently announced $3 billion military aid package from the U.S.
We can do more, we can do better, we can do more efficiently and much faster. The aid is needed. It's needed now, not tomorrow, not the day after tomorrow.
Please support our brave country, our brave sons and daughters that fights for freedom.
6 months into this war, Ukrainians are optimistic.
Everyone knows that we will not surrender, so our message is different today. And it's the only message that any Ukrainian can have in our heart and minds. We will win.
Now over in Virginia, where a man will spend the rest of his life behind bars for raping and sexually assaulting multiple children. 38-year-old Elwood Thomas was handed down 4 life sentences. Those life sentences come from 2 counts of rapes and 4 counts of aggravated sexual battery. According to police, Thomas abused children between the ages of 4 and 8 at a daycare center over the course of 6 years. This latest sentence comes as he was already serving time on another sexual assault-related charge. And here's an update to a story we followed since the very beginning. The family of the 5-year-old boy who was handcuffed by Montgomery County Police will receive $275,000 in a major lawsuit settlement. Now, you may recall it happened at East Silver Spring Elementary back in January. The police department released this body camera video. A 5-year-old child left on the school grounds and did not want to come back in. You can hear the 2 officers reprimanding the child. The encounter lasted 51 minutes. Now, at last checked, both officers remain on the force. And earlier this week, a tragic update from Prince George's County Police, who said the death of a 5-year-old girl was being ruled as a homicide. Now, there appears to be justice for that little girl. Dave Laval tells us from Capitol Heights how the case hits really close to home.
Cumberland Street and Drum Avenue is where little Prattlyn Delanoy lived with her family. It's also where she died a week ago. Prince George's police detectives announced earlier this week the D.C. coroner ruled the death a homicide. They have now charged her parents with the child's death. The father, 44-year-old Pradell Delanoy, is charged with child abuse resulting in death. and neglect of a minor. Meanwhile, the stepmother, 42-year-old Ornelli Charles, is also charged with both crimes and an additional charge of assault. Capitol Heights police responded to the family's home on Cumberland Street August 18th. Pratolin was rushed to a D.C. hospital where she died. Acting Police Chief Daryl Morgan revealed new information regarding the investigation.
From what I understand preliminarily, there is some history of child injury prior to this incident. I'm not specific on all the details, but there were some injuries that the child experienced earlier in the year. That's what I'm aware of.
Morgan said it's not uncommon for prior incidents of child abuse to remain hidden until there's a major injury or death, which unfortunately happened here. Prince George's police continue their investigation since they handle homicides for the city. In Capitol Heights, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
And still in PG County, the Hyattsville police saw multiple drug overdoses in teenagers this week. On Thursday, 3 officers pulled an overdosing girl from the back of a car near the East-West Highway. Officers found that she was overdosing on vodka, cocaine, and Percocet. The officers performed life-saving techniques, and the girl is in stable condition. Last Saturday, officers were called to 9 teenagers who seemed to be intoxicated. 3 of the teens, all girls, began throwing up and then passed out while the officers were arresting the person behind the wheel of a stolen SUV. Now, the current state of the teens are unknown. Now, they were found to have alcohol and Oxycontin in their systems. The Hyattsville Police Department is now speaking up about the dangers of recreational drugs, especially now as fentanyl is making many drugs more strong and more dangerous.